Hi, hello everyone. Welcome to the channel. I'm Cheryl. This is True Crime and Other Stuff. Thanks for being here, where I like to bring you the facts about true crime, the missing, current events, or anything I find interesting or important. Today, we have a lot of news from the past week. We got the Natalee Holloway, we got Richard Allen, we got uh, the Tupac case. We got all kinds of stuff. So let's get into it. First, we're going to start off with the Natalee Holloway case.
Well, today I can tell you with certainty that after 18 years, Natalee's case is solved. As far as I'm concerned, it's over. It's over. Joran Vandersloot is no longer the suspect in my daughter's murder. He is the killer. In the course of his felony prosecution, here for extortion and wire fraud indictment, he gave a proffer in which he finally confessed that he killed Natalee. He described when and how he killed her. And he said that after killing her on the beach in Aruba, he put her into the water, and that was the last that he ever saw her. That was all verified by a comprehensive and conclusive polygraph test. Even with this confession, though, he can't be tried here for Natalee's murder. But I'm satisfied knowing that he did it. He did it alone, and he disposed of her alone. I won't give you the details of his brutal confession. Those will be forthcoming when the proffer is made public. You will also have details of the plea agreement which was reached. His sentence of the extortion and the wire fraud will run concurrently with a sentence in Peru for killing Stephanie Flores. And that's fine with me. Thanks to a lot of very smart and dedicated people here, I got the answer I've been searching for the past 18 years. Joran Vandersloot's confession means we have finally reached the end of our never-ending nightmare. And for me, reaching the end of the nightmare, being over, is better than closure. It's been 18 years since Natalee disappeared, and Natalee would be 36 years old today. I still miss her every day. It's been a very long and painful journey, but we finally got the answers we've been searching for all these years. We finally, today, we got justice for Natalee. So thank you all so very much and being supportive of us in our long 18-year journey. Thank you.
Holloway, inside you said, your son said we did it. How do you sleep tonight? As a mother who has what she has today.
Yeah, I think we sleep well. I mean, this has been the most unimaginable journey, and I know everyone has been with us on this, and we are so appreciative of it. But for us to finally put this to rest and being over, as I said, it's better than closure because our never-ending nightmare had to end. And we are so grateful that we can say that today, that it is over. And that is getting justice for Natalee.
He said from the podium, he's a changed man.
Do you have any indication that with his profession there will be charges in Aruba? Do you have any hope for that?
I don't. I just know that there are no charges that will be here for his murder, but hopefully maybe they will look into that.
Do you need that, or do you have what you need?
No, I have what I need, but I have what I need.
Did you believe when...
Well, I'm glad she's happy that it's over. Oh my God, I could imagine. Okay, so, whoops. I have Joran Vandersloot confession. Here we go.
Dropped off a little bit further away from our hotel so we could walk back to our hotel, and I might still get a chance to be with her.
Okay.
That's what I was hoping for.
Okay. So what happens?
Yeah, Deepak drops me off at a place a little right of the Marriott Hotel known as the Fisherman's Huts. This place is not so far from, the next hotel is the Marriott, and the next hotel after that is another Marriott, which is a timeshare, and then it's the Holiday Inn. Well, we walk along the beach.
All right. Do Deepak and Satish get out? Come with you? What happens to them?
Deepak and Satish leave. They leave. They go back to their home. I assume they go back to their home. They get in their car and they leave. I'm actually with.
I just want to warn everyone, it gets a little gruesome pretty soon, so warning, here's your warning.
With Natalie walking along the beach. I find a space before we get to the Marriott Hotel, where I lay her down. We lay down together in the sand, and we start kissing each other. I get her to kiss me again. We start kissing each other, and I start feeling her up again. And she tells me no. She tells me she doesn't want me to feel her up. I insist. I keep feeling her up either way. And she knees me. She ends up kneeing me in the crotch. When she knees me in the crotch, I get up on the beach and I kick her extremely hard in the face. Yeah, she's laying down unconscious, possibly even dead, but definitely unconscious. And I see right next to her there's a huge cinder block laying on the beach.
When you say cinder block, looking at the walls of this place, is it like those?
The exact same cinder blocks. I see a huge cinder block laying on the beach. I take this and I smash her head in with it completely. Her face basically, collapses in. Even though it's dark, I can see her face is collapsed in. Afterwards, I don't exactly know what. I'm scared. I don't know what to do, and I decide to take her and to put her into the ocean. So I grab her and I half pull and half walk with her into the ocean. I push her off. I walk up to about my knees into the ocean, and I push her off into the sea. After that, I get out. I walk home. Plus, she asked to go back to her hotel.
So that's Vandersloot's confession. All right, so some crazy stuff happened in the Delphi case, so we're going to get into that now. Let's watch this video of what happened. Okay.
See. We on? All right, we are on the record in State of Indiana versus Richard Allen, 08-C01-2210-MR1. Thank you for your patience, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Mr. McClellan, Mr. Luttrell, for your patience. We've had an unexpected turn of events, ladies and gentlemen. Earlier this afternoon, the defense attorneys have withdrawn their representation of Mr. Allen. Mr. Baldwin made an oral motion to withdraw. I granted that oral motion to withdraw, and Mr. Rosie will be submitting a written motion to withdraw, I'm assuming within the next couple of days. They have confirmed with the court that Mr. Allen's financial situation remains static, meaning he is continuing to be entitled to appointed counsel. I will reach out to public defenders to make that appointment. As Mr. Allen is now without counsel, I've ordered him transported back to the Department of Correction. Mr. McClellan, I know that we have already scheduled a hearing in the Carroll Circuit Court October 31st at 9 a.m. I'd like to maintain that hearing if we can, please. I think at that point we can have counsel appointed. I'd like to set a new trial date. Obviously, I don't believe counsel will be prepared within the next couple of months to try a case of this magnitude in January. So we'll set dates for the trial. I think we need to set a date as well for the suppression hearing that was filed now by former counsel. I have asked the attorneys to provide all of the discovery previously provided back to the state of Indiana. I know I entered a protective order on the discovery, and honestly, I don't remember when that was. I think it was in April of this year, perhaps, maybe sooner. But the attorneys have been ordered to provide all of that discovery back to the state. And if you would maintain that until such time as it can be turned over to successor counsel, I would appreciate that, Mr. McClellan. I've also asked the defense attorneys to cooperate with successor counsel. They're not required to do that, but I think that they will in the best interests of Mr. Allen. They're not required to provide any of their work product, but they will be required and have indicated that they will cooperate with successor counsel. So obviously, without counsel, Mr. Allen's hearing cannot proceed. I apologize that I know many of you have been waiting for several hours. I know, Mr. McClellan, you and your staff, and you had some witnesses here that came earlier to have the hearing, but clearly this is outside of our control. So is there anything, Mr. McClellan, that you'd like to state for the record?
No, Your Honor, I think we can address the other issues at the October 31st court date.
All right. With that being said, then, we are in recess. Thank you. I'll see you in October.
All right.
Wow, that was some crazy shit, right? Okay, now we got some updates in the Tupac case. Let's watch this video. Here we go.
Welcome back to Law and Crime. I'm Michelle Yu. If you're just joining us, the arraignment for Duane Keffe D. Davis was delayed once again for the 1996 death of rapper Tupac Shakur. Law and Crime's Anjanette Levy was inside that courthouse for the hearing, and she is here with us now to bring us the latest. Thank you so much, Anjanette. What were the vibes inside that courtroom?
Well, Michelle, it was kind of like Groundhog Day. We were all here 2 weeks ago for this same procedure, the same arraignment hearing. It was continued yet again. This time, though, Keffe D had a lawyer present. That's Duane Davis. His street name is Keffe D, of course. And his name is Ross Goodman. He does high-profile cases here in Las Vegas. His mother is the mayor of Las Vegas. And he asked for a 2-week delay because he said he's still finalizing the representation agreement with Duane Davis. And so there are some things that are still going to need to be worked out. So this arraignment will be continued until November 2nd. Same vibe as last time, really. A little less media there. I did not see Keffe D's family here this time, but I did meet up with a friend of his who came to support him. He wasn't in the courtroom, but he was outside the courtroom. So you could see Keffe D. I mean, he's very serious. He knows this is serious. It doesn't get any more serious than this in the legal system. He is facing a murder charge with a gang enhancement. So it's a case that is a very high-profile case here in Las Vegas, and the Las Vegas Police Department and the DA have said that this is an important case. And joining me to discuss it is somebody who has handled his fair share of high-profile cases. He is Gabe Grasso. He represented O.J. Simpson, you may recall, back in 2007, 2008, in that robbery case where O.J. Simpson went into a hotel and and robbed some people with the assistance of others of some memorabilia. So, Gabe, thanks so much for joining us. We appreciate it. Your thoughts on what happened today?
Well, this is just sort of the, I guess, ugly underbelly of how these cases get started with not much going on. Apparently, Mr. Keffe D, that's what he goes by.
Keffe D, yes.
Keffe D.
Duane Davis,
Yeah,
yes.
Duane Davis. I'd call him Mr. Davis.
Yes.
Mr. Davis is attempting to hire Ross Goodman. He's apparently made an agreement with him to a retainer agreement, but there's still some things to work out, and that's where we're at with this. You know, it's an interesting case, and I spoke with Ross. I've known Ross for 15, 20 years, and he's a capable attorney. I've actually tried cases as co-counsel with him, and he can handle this. You know, he'll be able to handle this case. It's just a question of the client getting the lawyer on board and seeing where we're at when the dust settles and we get here in 2 weeks, and hopefully Ross can say, you know, I'm going to confirm as counsel, because that's what he's got to do. He's got to confirm as counsel, and then they're going to set they might set a trial date, they might set a status date, but normally they would set a far out trial date with some dates in between.
You said you spoke with Ross. We just saw you over there speaking with him. You've tried cases with him. Tell us a little bit about his style. He seems very sure of himself. He came down here and talked with us. He says 600 pages of grand jury transcripts. He hasn't read them, but he already sees defenses to this case.
One of the most difficult things for somebody to do in a case like this is hire the right lawyer, because I've been trying cases now for going on 35 years, all over the country. Most of my practice now is federal. But I tell people that, you know, it's very difficult to really know who to hire. You can't go by the billboards. You can't go by, not that criminal defense lawyers use billboards, but you can't really go by that. And so at least I can tell you that, you know, there are a handful of lawyers in any jurisdiction that are the top criminal defense lawyers. And Ross Goodman is a lawyer who regularly practices criminal defense. You want at least that. Hopefully he'll be able to, you know, and he's got a team around him. He's got a going office. He's here every day. So that's what you need. So I think, you know, like I said, I don't have any doubts that Ross can handle this case. This is a case that it's going to take some nuance, that's for sure.
Let's talk about that. I mean, nuance for sure, because we have somebody who engaged in a proffer agreement back in 2008, 2009. He tells this story about what happened that night. He basically, that statement can't be used against him, but then he goes out starting in 2018 and he starts giving interviews to YouTube channels, to BET, the Death Row Chronicles. He writes a book, Compton Street Legend. He talks about throwing a Glock. I mean, I read the book. He throws a Glock into the back seat. It doesn't appear that this is a work of fiction, or that he was telling it as a work of fiction. This was supposed to be a non-fiction account of what happened. So what are the nuances here? I mean, how do you kind of work around this?
Well, obviously, I'm just here commenting.
Sure.
I don't even think, no one on the defense side, I think at this point, I think probably Ross is the most informed defense attorney in town on it, because he's probably had some bits and pieces of information that other people don't know. But from what I know about the case, for example, there have been some articles about this proffer agreement with the feds in California back in the day where he made statements. Well, I think, for example, they made a big deal about that. I think that the state can move forward. The state in Nevada can move forward with this case without using any of the statements he made in the proffer agreement. I mean, that's how I'd approach it if I were the prosecutor. I wouldn't want that issue coming up. But remember, proffer agreements have a lot of, I do that on a regular basis. That's one of the things I do most in my practice, is proffer agreements with the feds. And proffer agreements have other parts of them that people don't remember. They just think that whatever you say in the proffer agreement can't be used against you. In reality, whatever, if you then in a trial down the road take the stand and say something different than you said in the proffer agreement, they can use the proffer agreement against you. There's sort of contingencies about that, as well as they can use what you say. They can make what's called derivative use, which means the feds can take what you said, or any investigative body, and they can investigate further based on what you say and come up with more evidence. So I don't think that's going to be a big issue in this case, the proffer agreement. I think they have enough to move forward. I mean, the grand jury found probable cause to move forward on this charge. The issue I see is all this stuff has been out there for a long time, okay? All this information. He wasn't charged in 2018. He wasn't charged in 2019. He was charged in 2023.
Right.
So what's up with that? See, that would be a question I would have as the defense counsel, and I would say, okay, what caused this? What was the trigger? That's what I would have my investigators and trying to figure out what was the reason for this. Maybe there's something that I can use as a defense in how this case got where it is right now. That's one of the issues. And the other thing that it's funny. There's a quote from Albert Einstein that sort of reminds me of what's going on in this case, because they say, well, we have hundreds and hundreds of pages of grand jury testimony. We have many witnesses in the grand jury, and these are all like former detectives in California who investigated, and former Nevada detectives, and all these people who are talking. But there's no gun, there's no car, there's no DNA, there's no real evidence other than testimonial evidence, not only from Mr. Davis, but from other people. And so when you have people talking, that's where defense attorneys can make most of their progress. When you have just testimonial evidence, right? That's where you can challenge things. So I just remember this quote from, when they say, well, look at all the evidence we have now. Back when Albert Einstein came out with the theory of relativity, the general relativity theory, there was a magazine article which was entitled 100 Physicists Against the Theory of Relativity, basically challenging Einstein's, because it was a new theory and people were saying, no, there's no way this is for real. And Einstein was asked about it, and he said, why 100? If I am wrong, you only need one. And so that's sort of the attitude I would take. Why do you need all this? If this guy really is what you say he is, if he is the guy, why do you need, why is all these little grains of sand building up to finally getting right past the probable cause determination? That would be sort of part of my theme in the case. Because, for example, when you're a person in his world, in Mr. Davis's world, one of the things I know from I've represented in federal court the Rolling 60s Crips. Okay, I represented that group. And one thing I learned about representing the Rolling 60s Crips and representing the Hells Angels and the Laughlin Shootout, and I've been involved in those cases and representing individuals who were charged in those conspiracies, is that one of the lifeblood of some of those organizations really is bragging, pontificating, making things up about yourself, getting street cred out of basically what might be BS.
Yeah.
And so those are all things that can be argued, like you can actually investigate that and formulate a defense as to how possibly this could just be all BS.
Now, Judge Jones obviously seems a little irritated. She wants to get the ball rolling on this case. Do you see her, because Ross Goodman said, I think he should be released on an OR bond. He's lived here for years. He's not done anything, bad. Do you see the judge releasing him on bail, maybe with a GPS monitor or something like that?
That's if I were defense counsel, I wouldn't even be worried about the case yet. I would be right now concentrating, if I were, any defense counsel worth his salt, I'm pretty sure Ross is thinking the same way. The main issue here is getting him out, because he was walking around for 27 years, if this is true, and it's not as if he's been arrested 15 times since then. he's been a relatively law-abiding citizen. I'm not sure if he has any.
He did years for drug dealing, but yeah.
I'm just saying, like in the last few years, he's 60 years old. He's been, he was taking a walk with his wife when he got arrested. So that would be my main concern, is trying to get him out on bail, because this is a weird case. This isn't one of these cases where, the alleged murder just happened and the guy's on the run and they finally caught him and now he's not getting out. Because the standard in not only Las Vegas, in Clark County, but in other jurisdictions is if it's a first-degree murder accusation, people usually aren't getting out on bail.
Right.
But this is a different kind of case.
Well, Gabe Grasso, thank you so much. We appreciate your time and your insight. We appreciate you coming down and talking with us today, and we look forward to talking to you again in the future.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks.
Thanks.
Wow, it's been 27 years. I think it's going to take a lot longer. All right. So I have a couple of videos about Ruby Franke. Yay. So let's watch those. Which one should we go to first? I don't know.
Cops say they were actually would-be home invaders trying to break in.
Wrong one. Okay, here we go. Right one.
We do every day.
Popular momfluencer Ruby Franke, known for her tough love approach to parenting.
Keeping them home from school and wiping the floorboards would really bring pain.
Now set to face a Utah judge over the custody of 4 of her 6 children as she faces felony charges of child abuse.
You two stay on that corner.
And this morning, exclusive body cam footage obtained by ABC News showing the moments police swarm Franke's Utah home the day of her arrest on August 30th.
Police department!
Guns drawn as police scour room to room in Franke's home for more of her children after one of them escaped from a house of her business partner nearly 4 hours away in Ivins, Utah.
I just had a 12-year-old boy show up here at my front door asking for help. He's emaciated, he's got tape around his legs, he's hungry, and he's thirsty.
According to court documents, authorities arrived to the Ivins home to find Ruby's 10-year-old daughter described as emaciated. But more exclusive body cam confirming the whereabouts of the 2 middle children.
Well, we have to physically see her.
A different police agency finding them miles away and turning them over to the state. This as estranged husband Kevin Franke, who's been separated from his wife since July 2022, fights for custody of their 4 minor children, all currently in the care of the state. Some of the alleged claims of neglect reported on this 911 call made by their oldest daughter, 20-year-old Sherry Franke, back in September 2022.
Hi, my name is Sherry Franke. My 4 younger siblings are living in Springville, and my neighbors have been telling me that they have been left home alone for about 4 or 5 days.
Records indicating police responded to the Franke home more than a dozen times in the last few years, as early as 2018, and a wellness check in 2022. Authorities arresting Ruby and her business partner in connections, Jody Hildebrand. The 2 now face 6 counts each of felony child abuse, each charge carrying a penalty of 15 years in prison.
The criminal side could actually have a lot of influence on the family case because these are charges related to child abuse, child neglect. And when family judges are looking to determine where kids should have custody, where they should live, those types of charges can heavily affect that determination.
ABC News did reach out to attorneys for both Ruby and Kevin Franke about their custody battle, but have not heard back. In the meantime, Ruby Franke and her business partner and co-defendant, Jody Hildebrand, were denied bail and are in jail.
Watch.
Locate 2 of Ruby Franke's children on the day of her arrest in southern Utah. From our previous reporting, we were the very first to tell you how officers scoured Utah County that day looking for 2 of Ruby Franke's children after the other 2 were located in southern Utah in or near Jody Hildebrand's Ivins home, malnourished and emaciated. The video we're about to show you is from the home of a 3rd member of Hildebrand's business. It's called Connections Classroom. Although American Fork Police redacted this video, we spent a lot of time today, took some additional steps to ensure the privacy of the children involved.
We had a
agency assists out of St. George and Springville.
On August 30th, American Fork Police responding to the home of Pam Botcher to try and locate two of Ruby Frankie's children the day Ruby and Jody Hildebrandt were taken into custody in southern Utah.
Just put your hands in front of you, okay? Just going to place you temporarily under arrest, okay?
In two body camera videos obtained by 2 News, officers placed Botcher in handcuffs and took her to the back of a patrol car and waited for Springville police to arrive.
There's a warrant to take them into state custody. A couple of them are found and malnourished and bound.
In the meantime, officers tried to get a better understanding of the situation, which spans from Utah County to Washington County.
Is Ruby Frankie's daughter.
Okay.
She's a friend of ours. She comes over and helps me every once in a while to do cleaning and stuff.
Because she knows her mom. She's very good friends with her, has known her for a long, long time.
Pam was handcuffed for roughly 50 minutes. That's when Springville police officers started speaking with her about the Frankie children.
So my friend called me and she said, hey, I have a family emergency. I'm going to St. George.
A DCFS worker arrives as officers try to clarify a time frame from when Ruby Frankie called Pam and apparently told her where she could find the 2 children spread across Utah County.
Ruby contacted you around noon and said that they had an
around, I don't know if that's exactly.
Minutes later, the DCFS worker asks how Pam knows the family, to which she confirmed our reporting about how Ruby, Jody Hildebrandt, and Pam all worked through Jody's business.
How did you start to know the family? How did you guys meet?
The Frankie family?
Yeah.
Through a program called Connections.
Okay.
It's a kind of a life skills type of thing.
Pam walked with the officers and DCFS worker back to the front of their home, where they told the children that they were either to stay with their older sister or be placed into state custody with a foster family.
You want to go get your stuff? You guys can come and get your stuff.
During the entire 90-minute stretch of when officers arrived to when the 2 children were placed in state custody, officers had a really difficult time getting information about the situation and relaying that to Botcher, her husband, and others involved. For example, there are even mentions in this body camera of Ruby and her husband in custody at that time. To our knowledge, Kevin Frankie was not in custody that day. Here's another clip from the interaction between officers and Pam trying to make sense of all of this.
So just to make sure I'm understanding all this correctly, Ruby contacted you around noon and said that they had an emergency.
Around, I don't know if that's exactly.
That's your best guess.
Said she had a family emergency.
I need you to pick up the girls.
Yeah, she said, would you mind watching the girls while I'm gone? Because she was leaving. I said, yeah, I could do that because I need some help cleaning.
Okay, and then did she say to bring them to your house for today and then take it back home tonight, or to keep them here for a couple days?
She didn't say. I was just planning on bringing them home tonight.
Shortly after, the DCFS worker comes over to ask Pam about how she really knows Ruby Frankie. She brings up the business Connections Classroom. That's the business Jody Hildebrandt ran. We've done a lot of coverage on this. Here's the interaction when asking how Pam knows Ruby Frankie.
What type of things do they do with the program?
It's like life skills. Like learning how to, you know, it's like be honest, responsible, and humble. Those are those 3 pillars of their program.
Is there like a meeting place for you guys met, or is it kind of a virtual
No,
thing?
It's online every Saturday morning. It's called Empowering Joy.
Okay. How long have you known them for?
Oh, geez.
Ish.
Probably, oh gee, I don't know. Let's see. I mean, I didn't know her really well because she was in the program, but I didn't really know her. But I've known her probably really well, maybe 3 years.
Okay. Is this like a program that she started, or is it just one that she kind of?
She's just a part of it.
She's just part of it.
No mention of Jody. You may remember from my conversation with Jesse Hildebrandt about a month ago. Pam and Jody have been friends for a very long time. We've been covering the 8 passengers case extensively over the past few months. A number of folks have been speaking to those who say they have been impacted by this in some way. And it may have been a while since we've talked to one of those individuals because the courts have really quieted down. Be sure to check out our YouTube channel. Head to the 8 Passengers playlist to watch all of our past coverage if you're interested. Here's what we're talking about.
Okay, that's Ruby Frankie news. Okay, I have 2 more videos, and these are just videos that happened over the week that I thought was pretty interesting. And then we'll get out of here. Here we go.
Reports that led to a shootout.
It's a home invasion, but these masked gunmen are about to get a nasty surprise from the homeowner. The drama erupted at a home outside Seattle.
When I saw the video for the first time, I was completely blown away. I just couldn't believe what I was watching.
First, the bad guys try to fool the resident into opening up by posing as cops.
Seattle police!
They push up against the door and try to kick it in. But they're not prepared for what happens when the door gives way. One invader hits the deck as the homeowner fires through the outer glass door. All 3 suspects take off running.
Was this self-defense or will he be charged?
Right now, it does look like this will be a self-defense situation. We obviously don't encourage people to start shooting at people, but we understand that there is a right and a need to protect your property when called for.
The homeowner says
I think it's totally self-defense, and he didn't even fire till the door was opened, so good job, homeowner.
the suspects kept firing at them as they ran away. A neighbor reported they heard more than 20 shots.
Okay, I got another video that I thought was pretty interesting, and here it is. Here we go.
We're now getting a first-hand look at a Georgia car chase turned shootout that left multiple officers injured, one suspect killed, and another with a lifetime prison sentence. It happened on April 12, 2021 in Carroll County, Georgia, west of Atlanta. That's where a Georgia State Patrol trooper stopped a Nissan Sentra driving more than 100 miles per hour along the interstate. Investigators later determined the driver was Aaron Shelton. His cousin, Pierre Shelton, was in the passenger seat. As dash camera video shows, at first, the driver doesn't stop for the trooper. Eventually, though, the car pulls to the side of the road. But when the trooper gets out to approach the Nissan, it speeds off. Dash camera video shows the initial chase as Aaron Shelton attempts to outrun the trooper. trooper gains on Shelton's vehicle. As dash camera video continues, the initial trooper zeroes in on the suspect's car and taps it as it drives along. The car veers out of frame before straightening out once again. Next, Pierce Shelton can be seen from the passenger side of the Nissan pulling out an AK-47. He points the gun back at the Georgia State Trooper and opens fire.
Shots fired, shots fired.
As the chase continues, multiple other units respond to the call, including county sheriff's deputies and local police officers. Dash camera video from other first responders shows them joined together in the search for Shelton and his cousin.
He's wearing a yellow hoodie. He's floorboard. 6-6, back off of him, back off of him. Back off, let's see what they do. Dispatch, we're right here going 69 miles an hour. I'm waiting to see what we do. We're turning right on Bankhead Highway. All right, get me some people up here. Let's get ready to do felony stop. If not, we will pit.
Carrollton Police Sergeant Rob Holloway can be heard on body camera video calling out instructions during the chase.
All right, back off just a little. We're going to follow at this distance. Dispatch, we're going 60 miles an hour. Bankhead Highway, we're passing Barnes Store. Get Villarica set up, spikes at Bay Springs.
Buffalo with some kind of A-frame, something up under it. Definitely an AR stop.
Hey, just make sure we're backed off just enough, okay? I'm going to try to turn on my scene lights. Dispatch, we are going about 90 miles an hour. We are coming up on Old Airport Road.
But only a minute later, shots are fired toward Holloway.
They're hitting their brakes. I'm waiting to see what they're about to do. Chief went back off of them.
229, you got Granby Connor. You ain't got to worry about spikes.
I know, but I don't want to get up here where they're moving around. I'd rather go ahead and disable them.
Sergeant Holloway was shot in the head and crashed his squad car as a result. Dash camera video from Holloway's squad car shows the same moments from a different angle. These same moments of Holloway's crash were also captured by another officer's dash camera.
Jump starts quick. 10-4, I'll get a 10-3, 10-33.
249, somebody check on 249.
As the crime unfolds, video shows officers on the scene take cover, ducking behind parked squad cars. Video then shows some officers move to a new location. This video shows the perspective of Carrollton police officer Chase Gordy, who also responded to the scene. Gordy can be seen taking cover in front of his squad car as shots ring out in the distance. Soon, gunshots are fired directly at Gordy. Gordy can be seen calling for help as the gunfire continues. For only 2 seconds, a suspect is seen in front of the squad car, gun in hand. Officer Gordy's body camera video captures these same moments from another perspective.
He's on my car! He's on my car! He's behind my car!
In all, 3 first responders were shot and injured: Gordy, Holloway, and Deputy Jay Repetto. Pierce Shelton also died in the incident. Aaron Shelton was arrested and indicted on 22 counts, including felony murder, felony fleeing, and aggravated assault of law enforcement officers. He was later convicted and sentenced to life in prison without parole. Reporting for Law and Crime Network, I'm Sierra Gillespie.
Wow, that was some crazy stuff. I didn't even watch the whole video, so I was shook. I didn't know all that was going to happen. So I'm sorry I didn't give you a warning, but I didn't even know. So that's all I have for this week in review. I hope you liked it. And watch my other videos and have a good one. Thank you. Peace.